Alright, in the comments video, I guess. It's really irritating. For so many reasons. I just fuck all you people are idiots. The ratings on these videos are just hilarious. I won't even get to that. So anyway, first the Piro sloppy science video. Let's deal with some of the crap on this video. So anyway, some asshole had to respond to my name for no good reason. The redshift expansion seems to work, though, if you consider how light is emitted in a mechanical way. Electron cloud jumps. Okay, whatever. Electron cloud is a stupid concept. Fuck that shit. To a higher energy level. Yeah, that's just a synthetic, okay? It's not a higher energy level. Theoretically, it's a more substance level. It has more energy in it. It's not that it's not that something upgrades in energy free. No, it upgrades in energy because it has more energy. Alright, snaps back and pulls on the electromagnetic field inside an atom. I don't think so. From whence a photon. From whence. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter how the photon is created. The argument is whether it's getting compressed at the source. Well, anyway, now, if you have something traveling away from you very fast and it snaps back, snaps back action will pull the field further back than it would if it were stationary. Yeah, well, the point I'm arguing is that nothing moves faster than the speed of light. So, unlike the creation of normal waves where there's a higher acceleration at the initiation of the wave, there is no higher acceleration in an atom when, or in electrons or in anything when photons are released. And they're released, okay? They're not created. They're just released. They escape gravity. So if the moon was to escape gravity, there would be no snapback effect. There would be no anything effect. There would just be the moon being released. So I'm arguing that the structure or the wavelength is built into the formation of the photons as they exist. So that's why elements give off a profile of certain colored light. When you destroy them through heat, they give off a signature of different photons, and that's because that's the photons they have existing inside of them. So they absorb energy, photons, in one form. Their wavelength is changed inside the atom, and then when they're released in this format that the atom has pushed them into by creating these different orbits and whatnot inside the atom. So it is the atom that creates the wavelength of the photon, and it already exists before the photon is released. And I think photons are released in pairs. I think this really does explain wavelength much better. But anyway, I don't want to get into that theory here. Okay, so you just say or something, which is nice. I like that you said or something. So I guess what I would say to you as a simple counter-argument would be, yeah, that's okay, it sounds alright, maybe, but what if, okay, you have a galaxy flying away from us at 375 million miles a second, or whatever the stupid idiotic numbers they come up with, and I just put a mirror, okay, at a 45-degree angle, right next to it, and I look at the mirror. Okay, so let's say, so the photons going sideways wouldn't be affected by this effect of yours, right? So the photons being released in the left or right direction to the acceleration or to the velocity they would not be affected by this red shift, theoretically. Certainly not as dramatically. And so your theory for it to stand up would have to demonstrate somehow how there would be some commensurate or constituent redshift in the mirror image. And I'm saying no, because it was never created in the first place. The redshift has nothing to do with the initiation of the light. It has to do with what happens to the light. Yeah, its adventures afterwards. So anyway, but expanding space is I think it's a silly explanation. Yeah, that's what I think. It's a silly explanation. I don't know where they came up with. I don't know why they would draw this. I know Einstein, blah blah blah, but look, his general and his special theory of relativity are a little bit. They need a little bit of work, and frankly, look, there's no difference between the space inside an atom and the space in the universe. So this is something. This is like the whole argument about physics, chemistry, biology. No, it's all physics. It's all one thing. And the universe is all one thing, okay? The space inside my body is the same as the space in the universe, and it just wouldn't work if the space inside of atoms doubled every million years or something. If the size of the space was increasing, but the particles weren't growing, then this doesn't work at all. And the gravitational forces, the electrical forces, the whatever forces hold it, the nuclear forces, certainly wouldn't be growing with any of this growth. So it just doesn't make any sense to expand space if you don't have some explanation for how the forces are doubling as the space doubles, because atoms would no longer hold together. But anyway, I don't want to get into this argument here. I mean, it's an interesting subject, don't get me wrong, and your comment was adequate, a little bit. I mean, it's just presumptuous, but at least to put the or something. Like I said, the or something makes this acceptable. Anyway, so then this sullen slut shows up. I don't know why she has to comment on my videos. There's a medical condition which causes a person not to be able to recognize faces. Yeah, you really think that's what he has? You think he has a I don't remember the Amazing Atheist voice? Okay, it took him a while to figure out, oh, that's the Amazing Atheist. He's only been around for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years making videos, and he can't even recognize his voice for a while. So now you have to come up with a condition where you don't recognize the voice, or you see his image and you don't even tie it together for a while. And then you don't recognize somebody who's talking, and you see their image and you still misidentify them. So he's not only not remembering Math Fail's inflection, the way he talks. We had a rather unique style. He's also not recognizing the exact timbre of his voice, and he's also not recognizing his fucking face. You're going to blame it on some medical condition? Fuck this bullshit. Can't remember the name right now. Have you ever heard of it? No, you're just wasting time. I mean, she calls somebody a troll later, and you're just saying, what the fuck are you? I mean, come on. Alright, so now this is the funny part, right? Because I have a couple of people banned because they're just obnoxious trolls, okay? The Mr. Stefan guy who would just comment on every video making some snarky, rude remark. And the stupid black fucking face guy, whatever his name is, black ass, something or other, black ass, so3 black ass. And so what is this shit? So what's the point of banning somebody if their comments are somehow going to be viewable in people's, whatever, their bell thing or something, and so then they're going to respond to them. So now they're responding on my videos to comments that aren't on my video, and it just is stupid. I mean, this is just stupid. I mean, what the fuck? There's no point in this. So anyway, she makes a bunch of comments. She's having a conversation with trolls, of course, because she's a slut. I don't know what the fucking point is, but this is the shit that I'm calling her a slut just because in here she makes some kind of patronizing puke remark. Let's see, itself, you need humans to love each other, right? Blah 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 blah. Ugh. A good person. I love this shit. Guess I haven't given up on him. I see a good person who's been hurt. I believe he can get past the hurt. Some kind of smiley face. So I assumed they're talking about me. But I can only assume that, but that's what it sounds like here. But anyway, fuck you. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I just make up stories about you. Oh, she got spanked by her father once, and he had a white beard, and so now she loves old men. I don't know. What the fuck? Leave me alone. Ugh. Alright. Yeah, okay. The biodegradable man. Yeah, he's having a conversation in there, too, with the non-existent people. Ugh. You would think that by now Piro would have accepted the tenuous nature of biological life and how fleeting it is. You would think so. I wonder why he still won't let go of the notion that humans are somehow special and that Mother Nature made it that way. We are all animals and yeah, we're all parasites. I shouldn't have said animals. I should have said what we really are, which is fucking parasites. And the byproduct of chemistry. Eventually we will all be gone. Definitely. Yes, that's right. The fucking universe is going to eat your asses, you fuckers who think your prodigy is going to take over or something. No. They're going to plant their flag and a big fucking cosmic wind is going to blow their ass into little tiny bits. And the universe will not shed a tear. Well, that's for damn sure, because it has no tear ducts, it has no eyeballs, it has no fucking goddamn brain, and nothing in the universe could give a rat's ass. Just as we don't give a rat's ass about the non-existent Martians and the non-existent Venetians, not even the non-existent brain in the universe like us is not going to give a fuck about the Earthlings. Even if there was a brain in the universe, yeah, that's right, it wouldn't give a fuck. Just as we don't give a fuck. Because we're fucking parasites. Alright, this guy pissed me off. The Doppler effect we experience on a day-to-day basis, such as from the horn of a passing car or train, has nothing to do with a change in density. Fuck you. I mean, really. It is caused by the compression or expansion of the wavelength of the pressure wave. Yeah, where do you think the pressure wave comes from, shithead? Okay, sound travels because atoms vibrate or cause a vibration in a medium. And that's the only way it happens. It's a mechanical force. Okay, it's transmitted through an interpretation of a membrane, a condition that exists in one place, and then there's a condition on the other side of that place, like a speaker, for example, some other mechanical impediment. And so the atmosphere is moved. And when something's moving, what happens is the air in front of it is compressed because of the movement. Okay, and that compression now causes the sound to be altered because the frickin' density of the atmosphere in front of the object has now been changed. And once you change the sound, it will stay that pitch throughout its whole future progression until something else alters it again. So anyway, I just posted this thing from helium. Obviously, helium doesn't change your voice. Okay, it changes the medium through which your sound is created into. And once it's changed, even though there's no helium in the air between us, I'll still hear it as altered because it was altered at its source, because the source density was lower. Density, right there. I put little bold symbols around it, but didn't bold. Significantly less dense. So fuck you and your patronizing, arrogant, goddamn shit. Has nothing to do with a change in density. It's significantly less dense. Fuck you. Alright. I was just going to post, well, what about helium, fuckhead? But I didn't. I instead went and got the quote. Alright. Alright, this is Obsidian Team Guy. The Christian. Obsidian the Christian now. Look, nice enough guy. Like him, but man. Thank you for the cigarettes. It was really nice, but fuck you, alright? I'm not going to get into an extensive conversation about the existence of Henny Penny, the Three Pigs, Three Blind Mice, or any other silly fable that some asshole made up a silly story, and now you're going to try to convince me that the silly story is somehow the fucking truth. Okay? It's just bullshit. I'm sorry you're a deluded idiot, but you're a deluded fucking idiot. You don't show how spirits don't exist. You just ridicule them. I didn't ridicule spirits in my fucking video. I didn't even talk about spirits. I was talking about people talking about spirituality, and most of the people talking about spirituality aren't talking about ghosts. Okay? They're talking about some essence of our humanity, and they're not talking about necessarily some essence that survives the death of our brain. They're just talking about some essence that might be sparkly and be interesting, that makes us more interesting somehow, but not necessarily something that's enduring and is floating around the universe after our demise. So that's even nonsense. So you want to say that I was talking about spirits? I wasn't. But anyway, if I could make a joke out of ghosts, okay, sure, give me the jokes and I'll read them. Alright, it's a silly concept, a silly idea. No mammal. There's not a bunch of frickin' ghost lions and ghost tigers and ghost wildebeests and ghost marsupials running around in the atmosphere, floating around going, hey, I'm a ghost. What am I doing? I'm sitting in a tree, a ghost tree. I mean, what the fuck? This shit doesn't make any goddamn sense. Of course I'm ridiculing it. How can I show that Bugs Bunny isn't king of the universe? I can't show you the non-picture of Bugs Bunny not as the king of the universe. What the fuck? All I can do is tell you that there's no evidence of your spirit. There's no evidence of any theory of spiritualism. There's no evidence of magic. There's only evidence that we evolved on this planet over 500 million years as sentient creatures from a goddamn trilobite, you fucker. Okay? We were fucking goddamn bugs. Alright? And now we're bugs with, you know, more tools, different kind of skin, different kind of weapons, but that's all we are, fuckhead. We're bugs. Well, not a trilobite, but, you know, a fish. I could make fun of something and it could still exist. Well, yeah, I didn't argue. The fact that I can make lots of jokes about how ghosts is a silly idea proves it doesn't exist. I'm just telling you, I can't disprove a fable. I can't disprove nonsense. I can just say there's no evidence for it, and I have a ton of evidence that the real story is that you're a goddamn fish. Fuck. Alright, no offense. Fuck you. Fuck you. Offense taken. But you treat scientific matters as if they were philosophical matters. Fuck you. I make the points over and over again that philosophy is different than science in the sense that philosophy deals with the one thing science can't do, deals with value and other elements that are always going to be invisible. They'll have no material form. Science deals with material forms. Fuck you. For example, you made the claim that photons can age. I didn't make the fucking claim, asshole. I clearly said in the video I could just come up with some theory that you can't disprove, just like a religion. I can just come up with an explanation that can't be tested, okay? Because there's no way we can make a billion-year-old photon. We can't make one, so how the fuck, okay, could we watch its life cycle and say what happens to a photon over 1 billion years? You can't do the experiment. You can't fucking do it. Shit. Without an ounce of evidence to support the claim. Well, that's exactly the point I was making, you stupid asshole. The whole point of me saying it in the video was you can't produce evidence for any of these fucking theories, you stupid shit. The only evidence you can do is say which ones conform to all the data that exists. Which one best explains all the little puzzle pieces that we have that are solid. Okay, but what I'm arguing is these conclusions being drawn are not, it's like when they say, well, the photon goes through both slits. They just made that shit up. Okay, that's just made up. Okay, there's lots of other theories of why there's an interference pattern that don't involve photons splitting in half, going through both slits, and then coming back together again on the other side. Yeah, lots of explanations. Fuck you. Alright, Sisyphus. Sisyphus. Yeah, fuck you. You know, if I say Jeebus, are you going to correct me and tell me his name is Jesus? If I say Jehovah, okay, you're going to say his real name is Jehovah. Or Jehovah. Is that what you're going to do, you little fucking weasel? Alright, I hate Sisyphus. I hate Sisyphus. I hate the whole fucking goddamn myth. I think it's crap. I don't even understand why it exists as anything. It's idiotic. It's not even Henny fucking Penny makes more. A fucking chicken getting hit in the head with an apple makes a hell of a lot more goddamn fucking sense than this stupid idiotic story about some make-believe guy climbing some make-believe mountain with some make-believe boulder where he can never get to the top and he just does it every day for no good fucking reason. It's a stupid, idiotic, fucking goddamn myth. It's stupid that people sit there and think there's something glorious in boulder pushing. Does it make any fucking sense to you, you fucking retard? Fucking idiots. I never knew you had a channel devoted to science. I will discuss it with you. whenever I can find the time. Well, gee, if you don't got the time, then just shut the fuck up. I still haven't had time to dissect the video where you claim that everything is made up of photons. Well, whatever. I can't help you. All right? But don't be telling me, don't irritate the fuck out of me by putting words in my mouth that aren't in my mouth, okay? I'm not claiming that photons can age. I'm saying I could theorize that photons can age, and it'll explain redshift, you stupid shit. But I can also set in that video that the aging process isn't something intrinsic to the photon, but it's actually intrinsic to the fact that the photon, the more space a photon travels through, the more likely it is to encounter dark matter, and the more likely it is to have its redshifted. And let's understand too, Professor Anton just made a video where he's sitting there talking about how photons don't have any mass, which is a complete misinterpretation because Einstein basically proved they do have mass because photons are deflected by gravitational fields. So why are we even having this argument? It wouldn't even matter if they do or don't have mass, in the sense that how could you ever tell, what scale could you possibly put the lowest weighing thing in the universe on? There's no way to measure it. Okay, there's no way to measure something with, the quanta mass. Because you need a quanta scale, and you can never build a quanta scale because scales always have to be bigger than the thing they're measuring. Always have to be smaller than the thing they're measuring. Always have to be capable of measuring something smaller than they're measuring. Let me put that the right way. You can't measure micrometers with an inch ruler kind of thing. It's pronounced Sisyphus. Sisyphus. Who the fuck cares? Oh, I just hate you fuckers. It's spelled Sisyphus. Who cares? I don't care how it's spelled. I don't care how any of it. I just said this is how I'm going to say it, just as I'm going to say Jeebus, and just as I'm going to say Jehovah, and just as I'm going to say you're a fucktard. Fucktard. My own fucktard. Get it? You are saying Sisyphus. Just wanted to point that out. Well, gee, you don't think I know that, huh? Well, fuck you. It is true, Gary, that there is evidence that we evolved from... Is it true, Gary, that there is evidence that we evolved from bacteria contained within the map of the human genome? Honest question. That would be fascinating if true. Well, look, the truth is that some of these bacteria don't exist anymore that are our descendants. But yes, you're descendant from a single frickin' cell, okay? And much of the cellular DNA that existed in your primal stages still exists in you because evolution doesn't erase shit, it writes over it. So it doesn't make corrections where it erases, it makes corrections where it just jumps over shit. Alright, so you have a tail in your genetic code. You have claws in your genetic code. You have a whole bunch of crap in your genetic code that we see realized every now and then when babies are born and they got a fucking tail. So yeah, most of your genetic code is the same genetic code that's like 50% of it is the same as an oak tree. Because most of your genetic code just has to do with maintaining cellular structure. So the substance of your genetic code is doing really, really tiny little chemical crap that has to do with mitochondria and all kinds of little crap inside of the cell. So most of your code is just organizing cells and isn't really doing this bullshit. Okay, so this is only a tiny percentage of your DNA is the skin sac bullshit. Most of it's doing the hemoglobin making thing, creating red blood cells, different cells that it creates, insulin, all these different chemicals. So yeah, there's lots of bacteria that have the same sequence of DNA. It would be interesting, I suppose, I wish I had the details, I don't, but it would be interesting to know what's the oldest, thing that we share a hunk of DNA with, and what's the longest string of code they found. I'd be interested to know what's the longest sequence of DNA that's identical from us and say a yeast or something. That would be interesting. But anyway, yeah, it's true. Sorry I can't give you more detail, but it's true. Alright, so let's do this fucking video. It's only got one comment. So that's not so bad, right? Well, I have to refresh. See, we got some more stuff, but it's the Obsidian Teen religion guy. You know, and he's just being really, you know, you're not gonna, what, you think you're gonna sell religion to me? Why are you watching my videos? I mean, you must know I am not a religious. There's no hope for you here. Okay, I'm the last person on earth you're gonna convince that God exists. Just the last. Let's see, so, so he's talking to Techlock, who apparently got spammed, or I don't know, he's way down here. Christian theism is incompatible with evolution, right from page 1. I don't know, people could see that obvious fact. There's huge contrast between what's going on in the Genesis and what the fossil record shows. What's going on in Genesis and what the fossil... Oh, okay, yeah. So there's no compatibility whatsoever. I mean, quite obviously, we don't live to be 900 years old and only have 8 kids. I mean, right there, you know, it's a... I mean, how can you take any of that shit seriously? What? Yeah, Noah saved life on Earth, and then a few days later got drunk, and then his son got sentenced to damnation because he saw his 900-year-old penis. I mean, does any of that make any fucking sense to you? Alright, anyway. Take Jesus' parables, for example. Not everything in the Bible has to be taken word for word, literally. Yeah, so you just make it up. You say, I like that word because it has a J in it. I like that word because it's 7 letters, and 7's my favorite number. But I don't like that word because it has 10 letters, and it's got a bunch of stuff with X's and T's in it. I don't like T's. T's make me creepy. I mean, what's your fucking... How do you decide what you're going to accept or reject in this silly fable? Ugh. God is omnipotent, so there is nothing to stop him from using evolution. Yeah, he could use the whole fucking thing, but you'd still have to explain why. What motivates him? What hardens his fucking dick? Why the fuck does he need somebody to love him? Or why does he need obedient humans? Or why is he playing this fucking game at all, you stupid idiot? I mean, what the fuck, what rational goddamn sense does it mean? Oh, I have forever existed, and then one day I decided to poof universes. Why? Because all of a sudden I got what, an itch in my ass? What exactly provoked God to sit around forever and then one day say, gee, I'm lonely. I think I'll torture some fucking animals. I mean, fuck you, and the point is that the animals had to come first. That's goddamn proven fucking goddamn fact, but in the Bible they don't come first. So that doesn't work, does it? No, it doesn't fucking work. Alright. You keep dismissing religion for no good reason. Evolution is compatible with Christian theism. Soul is just another word for mind. So that's fine, and I love some of the metaphors in the Bible. I mean, the idea that the word is everything, the idea of the tree of knowledge, and the whole idea that knowledge comes with this double-edged sword of responsibility, which is a great theme. It would be just great as if left as a narrative, as just a story told to make people more aware of their responsibility in the world. But when you take it literally, and when you create a God, and you create heavens, and you create hells, and all this bullshit, then you just break the whole fucking usefulness of any of this crap. We are biological organisms, but we are not just biological organisms. And you know that why? Oh, because some guy 2,000 years ago told you so. You don't have any evidence of this. We're not just biological organisms. I have absolutely no evidence of anything beyond the biology, but I'll just make it up. Fine. We have self-awareness. We have souls. Well, whatever self-fucking-awareness is, that's a really catchy thing, isn't it? What the fuck does self-awareness mean? Oh, you mean you were educated in grammar school and high school and acquired knowledge of the world and things in it and were able to give them proper labels and all of that stuff, are now going to call yourself self-aware? Was Helen Keller self-aware when she was basically an animal? I think she was just as fucking aware as she was after she learned language. She just knew what civilization was. She just knew now, oh, I can have a rational conversation about what I'm feeling instead of an irrational one. Spirit is just another word for essence of a sentient being. Blah, 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 blah. Angels are spirits without a body. Well, guess what? Disembodied minds. Well, go ahead, make that shit up. So if I become an angel, let's say I live my life and a rock hits me in the head and breaks part of my neurology and knocks some of that neurology out. What goes to the angel? The stuff I had before the rock or the stuff after the rock? Well, when I go to the spirit realm and I have Alzheimer's, do I go there and I still can't fucking remember my name or who my goddamn kids are? We are spirits with bodies, with a body. In other words, angels are sentient. Yeah, so they're up there feeling each other's asses. What are they feeling exactly? Tell me exactly what they're sentienting. We are sentient dusts. Yeah, why? Because a fucking book of bullshit told you so. I read the Three Pigs, and that's what it said in the Three Pigs, so I believe it. Demons are evil agents, fallen spirits. They fell what? Yeah, fell where? Why? How? Because they were poorly raised? Oh, they're poorly raised spirits. Fuck. They grew up in the ghetto. Demons come from the ghetto. In other words, if an atheist, Quinton Smith, to quoting an atheist, if you can't observe something, it can still exist. Well, I don't even know what that means. There's lots of things that are not observable that we know exist, so duh on that. But there's nothing indicating it does exist, so there's no reason to believe, like I said, I don't have film of Bugs Bunny's coronation as king of the universe, but I don't have any way to prove the film doesn't exist, and it would still be meaningful. Fuck bullshit. You're taking the meaning out of life by lying about what it is, by just getting it so preposterously wrong that you've created a cartoon out of life, a distorted, perverted, ugly cartoon. Much of non-dual phenomenology isn't religious per se. It has logic and scientific support, and its assets conventional reality ultimately transcends a strictly materialistic mechanic analysis. So absolute bullshit. No evidence whatsoever. Again, there's nothing. There's no complementary anything in any of this phenomenology crap. This is just bullshit. You can't just sit there and say, oh yeah, well there's no God, but there's magic forces. Yeah, magic. Yeah, magicians really do make white doves. They create them by spirit forces. They don't shove them into the sleeves of their jacket. No, they create them through spirit forces. A key area of dispute on this matter is the nature of consciousness, which science has yet to, oh, I love this shit, definitively explain. Yeah, that's right. It's 100 billion neurons, and science can't really tell you how exactly this water wheel works. But I'll tell you, okay, that it's all a fucking illusion, all right? It's just two hunks of software arguing with each other, okay, in a plane of sensual data input, okay? And it's like the perpetual feedback. It's like when you have the infinite feedback loop in video or in sound, and it creates that obnoxious noise. There's a physical limitation, and so it goes all the way down into some mechanism like that, and that's how it's creating sensation, is by creating this energy vortex created by this infinite feedback shit, or some sort of mechanism like that. But it's all a fucking theater in your fucking head, okay? It isn't a real thing happening to you in the sense that there's not some material model of it. It's a mechanism of illusion, alright? But it's one hell of a fucking illusion, as Einstein would say. The key area of dispute in this matter, definitively explained as an emergent property of matter. No, it's very easy to explain, okay? We're fucking biological organisms in a struggle for survival, and it is highly, highly, highly useful to have a bunch of tools like vision and sound and radar, and certainly the fucking feature of having a sentient body that tells you when you need to eat, and tells you that you're in too warm a place, or tells you in some visceral way, get the fuck out, but it doesn't sit there and make you robotic, so you always behave the same way. So when you're walking on the edge of a cliff, it doesn't say, get out by just jumping right. No, it gives you the choice to walk left. Okay, so it lets you engineer a solution. It creates the problem inside of you through creating obnoxious sensation, and then gives you the option of how to deal with the obnoxious sensation relevant to the fact that, well, I can't exactly run behind that tree because there's a giant Tyrannosaurus over there that might eat me. Even though Tyrannosauruses and humans didn't exist at the same time, I'm just using it for effect. Okay, but let's just say a polar bear. There's a polar bear watching, so right now I can't go run for the tree because the polar bear will see me. Stupid fuck. Explain the emergent property of matter. Until it does, both sides of the consciousness argument remain incompletely supported suppositions and technically speculative. Again, we know technically there's no argument about why it exists. It exists because it's one hell of an effective goddamn fucking tool. Okay, being able to model the world you live in and navigate the trees like a wolf running through the trees is very, very effective. Having visceral, real sensations that create a notion of value. Okay, the idea of value was created by the existence of our sensations. Our brain needed a mechanism to make it valuable for us to go get food, and valuable for us to make a shelter, and valuable for us to take care of our young. And the way it made it valuable was to create value sensations. Shit. Okay, it fell on this, obviously, but I mean, you can understand how the idea of having an organism going, ouch, gives you an opportunity to make it go, ooh, that feels better. So, yeah, it's not too complicated. You know, increase the pressure, decrease the pressure. Attraction, repulsion. These are basic functions within the mechanical universe. All right, and our the fact that our biological mechanism has duplicated that basic functionality of attraction and repulsion, of gravity and pressure, isn't amazing or hard to cognitively say, yeah, that's basically what's going on. But not super whatever areas of inquiry or import, whatever. Though it's true the debate is often prone to pseudo-science and mumbo-jumbo, and contemporary science and logic seem likely to continue to support an inevitable and perspective and conclusion. Huh? Yeah, inevitably, if we live forever? I mean, I don't even know if you can say that. Yeah, okay, if logic continues to grow and isn't destroyed by, dystopia, but why are you defending mumbo jumbo and then recognizing it's mumbo jumbo? And the science is not difficult. There's no excuse for gravitating towards quite obviously human-centric, anthropomorphizing the physical world into something happening to human beings and not happening to everything else. There's no reason for any of this bullshit phenomenology kind of discussions. It's not phenomenology. It's a silly word. It's a silly idea to put things into these categories and say this phenomenon of consciousness is somehow special. Special compared to what? Yes, special compared to a rock, but not special in some kind of context that it can't be explained by the frickin' parasitical organism. That's what parasites need. Parasites need tools to dig holes in things so they can extract the blood or oil, and that's all we're doing. Shit. Alright. That's it. Fucking people. Oh, did I read Obsidian's? Yeah, I did that thing. Yeah, you keep dismissing religion for no good reason. No, there's lots of good reason. It's idiotic. Silly stories. Silly story. And God was so lonely that he created things to worship him. God was such a fucktard that he he fallen them. He created them imperfectly so he could fucking kill them all and start all over again. with a family of incestuous morons. Oh, fuck, this is stupid. That's enough. But yeah, this is just, really irritating. So there is another good copy I did want to point out. My Misery Me did post a copy of it, and so did this person, whatever. Maurice. I don't know who that is. I don't remember exactly. Well, anyway. But, it's the whole tiny chatty thingy, whatnotty thing. I guess it's about the same as My Miseries. I mean, when all of them are filled. I guess when they're smaller, the images got bigger, so it was a good style thing. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it's the whole thing, so it has all the boring bits. I mean, all the technical crap, which was funny. Anyway, but this was, I did pretty well. I mean, I made up all kinds of new stuff. Yeah, so it was kind of good. Yeah, that's good. Fucking people. Anyway, so back to my business. Fuck you. So I gotta quit reading comments. It really is the only way to go.